Hi there, hello, and howdy to all my piglets. This is Sheila. Welcome to the Painted Pig Studio. Okay, somebody asked me the other day, well, what do you do in between journals? Well, I thought, that's a good question. That somebody out there might want to know the answer to that as well. So I'll tell you. The first thing I do, well, when all is said and done, you don't want to go through a crafting withdrawal. So that's a good time to do challenges or, do something that you haven't done before, like I did the Traveler's Notebook. I'd never done, well, not one like that anyway. And so then the thing that is a must for me to do is to put everything away and organize it. And one of those things that I do is go through my scraps. I have two bins that I keep for my scraps. The larger one is just for scrapbook papers and all that. And then I have a smaller one for, printables, digis, that kind of thing. And whatever tissue paper I might have left or vellum or things like that. If it's not been cut, I go ahead and I have a binder that I keep the digitals in, and they're by name. So if I have any Victoria designs left over that I haven't cut, I put it in there, that kind of thing. And so after I've gone through my scraps, these are the two bins that I use while I am doing a journal. And one is for the scrapbook paper, larger bits, and the other one is for the smaller bits. And guess what? I actually have one more. This is for the teeny tiny bits. And believe it or not, I threw away about half of what was in there. So that actually goes in there. And I like to keep these things to do little collages and things. So I keep the very tiny bits in here, the tiniest in there, and the larger in there. So that's after it's been cleaned out. And so I go through and clean my desk off. And right now, it's cleaner than it's been since I started the Betty. And maybe even cleaner than it was then. So once everything is put away and organized, then I start planning my next journal. Now, this may tell you a little bit about what it's going to be. It's going to be the rose. So I've picked out, I got an old Reader's Digest book. And don't look at that, I was playing there too. The spine was gone. I mean, it was just in ruins. And I wanted to do a journal slightly smaller than what I've been doing. So this is going to work out to be 5. The papers will be 5 across and 7 7/8, I think, long. And this is 5 1/4 by 7 1/2. So the papers are going to fit in here really nicely. I did a little texture medium through a stencil right here just because I was watching a video, and I'm going to link her below. Zoe, I can't remember her last name, but like I said, I'll link her below. And it was from 2017. I'd forgotten I had subscribed to her channel, and she uses just plain like cotton fabric And she paints it with acrylic paint and water. And it gives it kind of a faded, sort of a distressed, chalky kind of look when it's dried. And she, the way she attaches it to her, well, she does this on the front. So when she attaches it, this is like raised, and you can see whatever whatever motif she has done on it. You can see it because it's raised from the actual book board. And so I don't think that's going to show because of the material that I'm going to use. And she also had just discovered heat and bond, and someone had told her to put tissue paper on the back of the heat and bond instead of ironing it directly onto the book board. And then she can use her glue, which is her preferred, to actually glue it to the book board, and it won't come up through the fabric because of the heat and bond and the tissue paper backing. So it's more like a real bound book is done. And I thought it was very interesting, so that's why I want to link that video below. Another video that I watched in awe was, it was a lap book, and it was done using Victoria Designs English Rose Garden. I'm going to link her below too, if I can remember, because that is a fabulous video. I just don't see how she did it. But she, in lieu of book board, she used a vinyl. She tore apart one of these binders, you know, like we all have hanging around, like you can get at the Dollar Tree. Now, I don't know if the quality is the same at the Dollar Tree as one you'd pay a little bit more for at Walmart or whatever. But she just tore the cover off and used that for her book board. And I thought that was pretty cool. And then I remembered I switched some of my scrapbook pages, my scrapbook pages that were completed. I had in albums. Well, I had them in the post, whatever that is, that design. And, excuse me, that was my phone. And so I had saved the outside. Didn't know why I was saving it, but guess what? It's got that on the inside bit too. So I've got book board to build my spine with. How about that? Isn't that cool? And it's, I don't know if you can see, but it's pretty much exactly the same size as my cover. And then I start planning, I start dyeing my pages. And that's what I did yesterday. And I used a mixture of watercolor, 2 different ones, I think. I kind of blended it to how the color I wanted. And guys, the paper turned out so pretty. I can't show you a lot of it, but I can show you a couple of pages. This is the cutoffs of, because I've already got my signatures set up and everything. This was what was cut off the papers I used. And this is just excess that I can use for backing or whatever. But I used those stencils. I laid stencils in between. I laid doilies in between. And, I mean, they just turned out fabulous. And I was just going to let them air dry. It's so humid here right now. We've had tons of rain, and it's hot. It's the South, you know. So, I put them through the oven for just a little bit. They were still damp when I pulled them out, but much drier. They weren't soaking. And I didn't really put as much on them as I have in the past. And I took care to really mash it down in between each one. So they didn't wrinkle nearly as bad. I mean, hardly at all. And so they turned out really, really good. And now, let me tell you, and I did a few book pages in case I want to, and these are pages that came out of the book, so I know they'll fit. But I did just, to make, in case I want to put some tags or make some tags or something out of it. And this, I did this so I could back some of my tags for writing. And I did a large envelope. So I think I want to put one on, part of it on the front and part of it on the back. I did doilies, as I said, different sizes, and they turned out, and I used the back side of it, see. Some soaked up more than others. I don't know why. And then I pick out my scrapbook paper that I'm going to use scrapbook paper to cover the fronts. Well, 2 out of 3 of the signatures. And I'm going to make a big spine this time. I'm going to make a big one. Although I'm going to try not to get too carried away with embellishments. We know how that is. So this is Stamperia or Stamperia paper. That there's the first signature I've already got trimmed and put together. So, and this is Stamperia. It's the same paper pad and rose. It might be English rose too. I'm not sure. But in lieu of a third one for the middle, I think I'm just going to use some of this thick cardstock that I dyed and a doily that I dyed and just kind of embellish it, make it look pretty. And it's because it's about the same weight as the scrapbook paper, so might as well. But yeah, I can show you some of the paper. This is that newsprint. And look at the music. Can you see that? The pattern that it made. Isn't that pretty? That's cool. Here's a sheet of parchment. It turned out good too. And I put weights on them. There's one little wrinkle there. I also put weights on them. Outside I put, in the baking sheet, I put a towel on the top, and then I put iron skillets on top. But I couldn't let them stay out long because the sun was not out that long, and it started to rain again. So I got them in just as the sprinkles started. So I put them over my vent here on a rack and finished drying them. And then I went ahead and did iron them this morning. So this is what's going to go in the middle. And I want you to see, this makes me sick. I used my old scrapbook software to do some line pages with the little rows in the corner. Put it through my printer, and my printer's left black marks on just about every one of them. And I'm going to try to come up with something to do about it. But if I can't, then I'll just dye some more paper. Yep. So, and this, I'll go ahead and tell you real quickly, is a digital. I purchased it. It's ephemera, journal cards, things like that, from My Porch Prints. And it is, see, my printer did something there too. It's there, and it may be English Rose Garden too. I'm not sure. But it's certainly something about roses. And it's very pretty. I like that. And this is Basil, the company. And it's embossed. I don't know if you can tell, but it's little tiny polka dots embossed on this pink paper. This is going to be my inside front, my inside back. Got some more doilies here. And so this is my project box. This is what I do every time when I'm picking out my papers. I put them in here, and my dyed papers, anything left, my scraps, I'll go in here. Anything I'm going to use, right there. And now, the way I did this was a little bit different too. I got my signature good and straight, And I've got my papers all the way into the fold as much as I possibly can. And then I use my ruler for quilting. I got one of those. And a rotary cutter. And I didn't worry about ruining this because I've got another blade I can put on here. So I just, it was so much easier. It was wonderful. So I don't remember how I arranged. I normally arranged this one and didn't think and went ahead and turned the camera on. But how did I do that? There is no telling. Oh, I know I did it. I had it folded, and so when I trimmed, it came loose, but that's perfectly fine. And I think I did tissue paper, and then a lined sheet. And newsprint, and probably one of those. Let's see. That's good enough. And music. I'll tell you what, let's do one of these. And then one of these, and then the music. Okay, so there's my signature, and this happens to be the third one. So I pushed them all as well as I could into the fold. Good and straight, top and bottom. Actually, there's one that's a little bit longer right there. So I better take care of that first, huh? So it's the same basic principle. Put my ruler there. And hopefully keep it steady. I was standing up before. I probably should be standing up doing this. Okay. Yeah, I got a little crooked there, but off camera I will do a better job. And so that's what I did. I just put the big paper clips on there. Keep it good and straight. Make sure it's all the way in. Well, 2 minutes. There you go. Ooh, nice. And I'll fix that right there too. So, we're starting a new one called The Rose. And I think it's going to be very feminine. Very pink. And hopefully very pretty. This is the fabric that we're going to use on the cover. So I contemplated using the actual cover, and then I thought, no, it's a little dirty and worn. So, but that's what it'll look like until we fancy it up. And I'm going to put ribbon. I'm going to have a ribbon closure. So I'm going to do the cover. So the next time I see you or you see me, I will have everything ready to put the cover on. And I may even go ahead and decorate it somewhat. So we're kind of doing things a little bit differently this time. So thanks for joining me. I hope that you will tell your friends or your relatives, especially your seniors, don't forget them, to invite them to come to my channel and check it out. And especially if you're a beginner and want to do a journal, maybe you'll get something out of it, start to finish. And so give me a like, please, and subscribe if you haven't already. We're closing in on 100 subscribers. I mean, closing in fairly quickly. Let me see what we are at. Last time it was 86. Yep, 86. So we're 14 away from the giveaway. So that's another reason to invite your friends over. And this giveaway is going to be, there's going to be one of these. There's going to be a couple of new things in the package. Not expensive because, you know, I'm not one of those biggies. I haven't got 100,000, just 800. So, but I have got a couple of things in there. Maybe a couple of Dollar Tree things thrown in. So, free stuff is good. You know, it's always good, especially when you're starting something out and you get a little something free that's going to help you out. So, thanks again for watching. Hit that like button and stay well. Take care. Hugs and kisses until we meet again. Bye-bye.